not on only 4-5.
I think at the end of the class again we can have some pics, right? Okay. Now Act 2. It's the same scene. It's continuing from here, and there's the Christmas tree in the corner by the piano, and this Christmas tree, as we had discussed, is very important because this is the symbolical device, that symbolism that the dramatist is using. The Christmas tree, its health, its decoration, these all things signify the family atmosphere of just hold on. These things, they signify the family atmosphere of the play of Nora's family, right? So here, Nora, she is wearing a cloak, a coat, overcoat. Cloak is overcoat, right? And see here, acha, Christmas tree I ignored. This is in the corner by the piano, stripped off its ornaments. No more it's decorated. Family atmosphere is now very different from what it was in Act 1. In Act 1, we saw Nora celebrating her family life. The children are chirping around in the household, and Helmer, Torvald Helmer, taking care of his family and protecting his wife against all things which he seemed is ugly. He thinks it's his duty to prevent his wife from all kind of ugliness. Okay, and her world should be made just a sweet little world where his little squirrel, that is his wife, can keep on celebrating life. Okay, of course this is love, and this is protection, this is a care, but these things all are coming under one condition, that Nora has to be a good, obedient wife. As long as she remains as a good, obedient wife, she's going to get all the care, protection, and love, pampering from her husband. Okay, now here, what's happening? Nora's cloak and hat are lying on the sofa. She is alone in the room, walking around about uneasily. She stops by the sofa and takes up her cloak. Drops her cloak. She has not decided. Someone is coming now. Goes to the door and listens. No, it's no one. Of course, no one will come today, Christmas Day, not tomorrow either. But perhaps. Opens the door, looks out. No, nothing in the letterbox. It's quite empty. See how impatient, how scared she is. She feels someone is coming, there's some letter dropped in the letterbox. Her secret is going to come out now. What rubbish. Of course, he can't be in the earnest about it. Such a thing couldn't happen. It's impossible. I have 3 little children. My whole family life will be disrupted if something of this sort happens. Right? So, at last I have found the box with the fancy dress. Thanks. Put it on the table. She is preparing for that snowball festival, or that program that is going to take place, function that is going to take place. But it is very much in want of mending. I should like to tear it into 100,000 pieces. What an idea. It can easily be put in order, just a little patience. I'll go and get Miss Linda to come and help me with it. What, out again in this horrible weather? You will catch cold, ma'am, and make yourself ill. Well, worse than that might happen. How are the children? See, she's talking to her nurse, and nurse is just telling her about that function that she has to attend, but her mind is somewhere else. The poor little souls are playing with their Christmas presents, but do they ask much for me? You see, they are so accustomed to have their mama with them. Yes, but nurse, I shall not be able to be so much with them now as I was before. As the husband had said that mother is going to be bad influence upon the children. So now she is scared of going near her children. She is so much emotionally disturbed now. Oh well, young children easily get accustomed to anything. Do you think so? Do you think they will forget their mother if she went away altogether? Good heavens. Went away altogether? Nurse, I want to tell you something. This nurse has been with the children right from the very beginning. You will come to know about it. Her name is Anne. So, nurse, I want to tell you something I have often wondered about. How could you have the heart to put your own child out among strangers? I was obliged to. If I wanted to be little Nora's nurse. Yes, but how could you be willing to do it? What? When I was going to get such a good place by it. I can be nursing children. If I get a good place and I'm getting good place here, I'm happy to serve the children. A poor girl who has got into trouble should be glad to. I have faced the ups and downs of the life and I have gone through my struggles. I am happy to have a comfortable home. Besides, that wicked man didn't do a single thing for me. But I suppose your daughter has quite forgotten you. Now you have left your husband, you have left your children, so maybe your daughter has forgotten you. No, indeed she hasn't. She wrote to me when she was confirmed and when she was married. Children never forget their mothers even when their mothers leave them or abandon them. This nurse had to leave her daughter with the father, and the father was not a good man, and so she thought that the children will get accustomed to, but then she says that the mother is never, forgotten in the lives of the children. Now, dear old Anne, you were a good mother to me when I was little. Little Nora, poor dear, had no other mother but me. Your mother died early, so I had to nurse you. See for how long this nurse has been with Nora. So she understands her very well. Nora. And if my little ones had no other mother, I am sure you would. What nonsense I'm talking. Go into them. Now I must. You will see tomorrow how charming I shall look. I will get ready for that function. Nurse. I am sure there will be no one at the ball so charming as you, ma'am. Goes into the room on the left, goes to the children. Nora begins to unpack the box, but soon pushes it away from her. If only I dared go out. If only no one would come. If only I could be sure nothing would happen here in the meantime. Stuff and nonsense. No one will come. Only I must think about it. I will brush my muff. What lovely, lovely gloves. Out of my thoughts, out of my thoughts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ah, there is someone coming. Now she screams. Makes a movement towards the door but stands irresolute. What to do? Enters Mrs. Lindia from the hall where she had taken off her cloak and hat. Oh, it's you, Christine. That means she's expecting someone else. There's no one else out there, is there? Notice the panic here. How good of you to come. I heard you were up asking for me. Yes, I was passing by. As a matter of fact, something you could help me with. Let us sit down here on the sofa. Look here, tomorrow evening there is a fancy dress ball at the and who live about us, and Towel wants me to go as a Neapolitan fisher girl and dance the tarantula that I learned at Capri. Now, do you know what is tarantula? Any idea?
Ma'am, it's a dance form. It is a dance
No,
form.
what is this? Yes, tarantula dance we have, but what is tarantula? Tarantula is a big poisonous spider, right? And when you see spider, what do?
We scream or we try
Frightened.
to catch
You
it. Yeah, we get scared.
We
you
get
try to
frightened.
no. Just tell
We
me
try
if you
to
see
either get,
spider. If you see
we
it
try to
happens
either,
that you are not expecting spider at your home and you see a web and you see a spider coming towards you, what would you do?
We
Ma'am,
probably
we get frightened.
try to get rid of it.
We'll keep it.
How many of you will shriek? How many of you will shout?
No.
I probably will. I probably will.
Shobna will scream,
Shobna.
right?
Yes.
Okay. And who else is going to scream on seeing the spider?
I love spiders, ma'am.
Who loves spiders? I would like to know. Come on, tell
Ma'am,
me your
I.
name.
Tanishka.
Tanishka, wow, that's great. You love spiders. I have never heard people loving spider. Why do you love spider?
They are very cute.
Oh, cute. Okay, but this tarantula is a poisonous spider, right? Person may die. Okay, so here what
Yeah, not poisonous one, but the ordinary
No,
ones are cute.
at home, what we find, those spiders, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Ma'am, I would probably think of the ways to get rid of it.
Who? Name?
Shaurya.
Shaurya. Okay. Okay, fine. So here what happens that this dance form, tarantula dance, is something that a person who screams at spiders would do. You would jump, you would shriek, you would just throw your hands and your feet in a very aggressive way. That is what tarantula dance is, right? So now Towel wants that Nora has learned this dance, and Towel wants that she should dress as a Neapolitan fisher girl, right? So as a fisher girl, she has to dance and she has to do this dance, tarantula. Okay, now this is also a second biggest symbol in the play. Okay, how? We will see it here. Mrs. Linde, I see you are going to keep up the character.
झूठ नहीं आर्ट्स में भी हो नहीं सकता.
Yes, Towel. Yes, Towel wants me to. Look, here's the dress. Towel has made it for me, had it made for me there, but now it's also torn and I haven't any idea. We will easily put that right. It is only some of the trimming, trimming come unsewn here and there and needle and thread. Now then, that's all we want. It's so nice of you. Right? Mrs. Linde, so you are going to be dressed up tomorrow, Nora. I will tell you what. I shall come in for a moment and see you in your fine feathers. When you will dress up, I'll come and help you. But I have completely forgotten to thank you for a delightful evening yesterday. She is working towards getting her into job. So for this, she is thanking her. Nora crosses the stage. Well, I don't think yesterday was as pleasant as usual. For her, she is disturbed because she has met Krogstad. You ought to have come to town a little earlier, Christine. Certainly, Tower does understand how to make a house dainty and attractive. How Tower has decorated this house. You should have seen that. And so do you. It seems to me you are not your father's daughter for nothing. But tell me, is Dr. Rank always as depressed as he was yesterday? He's always talking about deaths and such morbid thoughts do come in his mind and he's just discussing that. Is he always like that? No. Yesterday it was very noticeable. I must tell you that he suffers from a very dangerous disease. He has consumption of spine. Poor creature. His father was a horrible man who committed all sorts of excesses and this is why his son was sickly from childhood. Do you understand?
Ma'am?
Yeah.
Ma'am, what does this line mean when Mrs. Linde says that and so do you, it seems to me, you are not your father's daughter for nothing.
Yes, that means your father was also a very meticulous person, kept everything in place. He was very methodical and you have also inherited same thing from your father and you also like decorating and keeping your house well in place.
Okay.
So you are not your father's daughter for nothing. That means you are your father's daughter. There are two negatives in the sentence, not and nothing.
Okay, ma'am.
So these negatives cancel each other and it becomes like you are your father's daughter.
Father's daughter. Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Now, Mrs. Linda, my dearest Nora, how do you know anything about such things? How do you know that what his father was like? Why is Dr. Rank suffering from such dangerous disease and he is going to die and all that? Mrs. Linda.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, Shobna hai. Ma'am, I have a
Yes.
question. What does it mean his father was a horrible man who committed all sorts of excesses, and that is why his son
Perhaps,
was sickly from childhood?
yeah, yeah. All sorts of
How can his
excesses.
father's...
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
this is
Please
something that
explain.
you would think about, that all sorts of excesses, maybe like he was an abusive father, he was alcoholic, he had many relations with women, he was licentious by nature, anything could be there. She has not explained it. So he was a horrible man. That means he was not a respectable person. No, he was not good to his son, right? And that is why his son was sickly from childhood. That means he was not taken proper care. Something he would have inherited from his father, maybe some disease.
Okay, so
Right?
physically
So,
also, and then if he was,
yeah, and then
if his
since his
father was
physical,
abusive,
yeah, yeah, home
then
atmosphere was not
emotionally.
good. Yeah, there may be several reasons for a child being sickly. So she has not pinpointed on what particular excess of his father she is talking about.
Okay, the thing that is highlighted is that because of his father, he is sick. So like there
She
is an
thinks, see
inheritance of
this,
this.
yeah. So this is again and again coming, that if something is wrong with the children, then the parents have done something wrong. This is the view you get in this play.
Yes,
Because if
ma'am.
this,
There is a theme of inheritance in a
yeah,
way.
yeah, that
I
theme
read
is
about
there.
something.
Yeah, these are the sentences that you can pick up wherever it has been told that if children are not, they will become deceitful if the parents are deceitful, and especially mother. In this case, it's father, right? Mrs. Linde, how do you know about these things? See, Nora, when you have 3 children, you get visits now and then from married women who know something of medical matters, and they talk about one thing and another. She said she has got 3 children. Okay, so there are many married women who visit her place. She is friendly with other families also who have got children of same age, and these mothers, they sit around and talk about medical matters related to their child's health, and they talk about one thing and another. So such matters are often discussed among women. Then after a short silence, Mrs. Linde is asking, does Dr. Rank come here every day? Every day, regularly. He is Tower's most intimate friend and a great friend of mine too. He is just like one of the family. But tell me this, is he perfectly sincere? I mean, isn't he the kind of a man that is very anxious to make himself agreeable? He pretends to be very sincere, agreeable, being acceptable by the people. Not in the least. What makes you think that? Linda, when you introduced him to me yesterday, he declared that he had often heard my name mentioned in this house. But afterwards, I noticed that your husband hadn't the slightest idea who I was. So how could Dr. Rank, you know, your husband doesn't know me, but Dr. Rank saying that he has heard my name mentioned. See how observant, her power of observation is so keen. That Dr. Rank said that I have heard the name of Mrs. Linde in this house, but husband has got no slightest idea that who I am. So who would you have talked about me? How does Dr. Rank know my name? So Nora says, that is quite right, Christine. Tower is so absurdly fond of me that he wants me absolutely to himself, as he says. At first, he used to seem almost jealous if I mentioned any of the dear folk at home. So naturally, I gave up doing so. But I often talk about such things with Dr. Rank because he likes hearing about them. That means whatever emotional sharing Nora has to do in place of her husband, she discusses all these emotional matters with Dr. Rank. Nora cannot talk about her own family That means her mother, father, and whatever, whoever the people were before she was married, associated with. She talks about those people with doctor rank, not her husband. With her husband, it is always like a pleasing wife. Dr. Rank is more of a friend for Nora than her own husband.
Ma'am, she doesn't allow her emotions to flow, naturally in front of
Because
her husband.
her husband always judges her.
Yes, ma'am.
You
Yes.
have to be so and so. You have to be little Nora, my squirrel. You have to be so and so.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
if she wants to discuss her people, her surroundings, her childhood, and she wants to feel free, and she knows that this person is not going to judge me. So such a person is Dr. Rank in her life. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
So,
Yes, ma'am.
Mrs. Linden, listen to me, Nora. You are still very like a child in many things. And I am older than you in many ways and have a little more experience. Let me tell you this. You ought to make an end of it with Dr. Rank. What ought I to make an end of? Of two things, I think. Yesterday, you talked some nonsense about a rich admirer who was to leave you money. Now, Mrs. Linde thinks that perhaps Dr. Rank has given her money for that Italy trip. Okay, so Nora Singh, an admirer who doesn't exist, unfortunately. But what then? She's saying there's no such admirer. But Mrs. Linde, is Dr. Rank a man of means? Is he rich? Nora, yes, he is. And has no one to provide for? No family? No, no one. But and he comes here every day? Yes, I told you so. But how can this well-bred man be so tactless? I don't understand you at all. Don't prevaricate, Nora. Do you suppose I don't guess who lent you the 250 pounds? Don't lie to me. I can easily guess. Nora, are you out of your senses? How can you think of such a thing? A friend of ours who comes here every day. Do you realize what a horribly painful position that would be? If I had taken money from Dr. Rank, who is such a good friend of mine, do you think I would have kept such a relationship with Dr. Rank? Then that friendship would not have existed. Then it really isn't he, that secret admirer? No, certainly not. It would never have entered into my head for a moment. Besides, he had no money to lend. He had no money to lend then. He came into his money afterwards. Well, I think that was lucky for you, Miss Nara. No, it would never have come into my head to ask Dr. Rank. Even if he had money, I would have never borrowed money from him. Although I am quite sure that if I had asked him, but of course you won't. Of course not. I have no reason to think it could possibly be necessary. But I am quite sure that if I had told Dr. Rank behind your husband's back, I must make an end of it with the other one. And that will be behind his back too. I must make an end of it with him. Yes, that is what I told you yesterday. But walking up and down, a man can put a thing like that straight much easier than a woman. One's husband, yes?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, to other one, who is she addressing to? I must make
You know, Mrs. Linda doesn't know, but she's talking about Krogstad now. I have to put an end to it. I have to find a solution. But still her mind is lingering over that this Krogstad is going to come to blackmail her.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Nonsense.
And excuse me,
When
ma'am,
you pay off, yeah.
Ma'am, a man can put a thing like that straight much easier than
Yes, we are just coming to it. We are coming to it. No, standing still. When you pay off a debt, you get your bond back, don't you? Now see how her mind is towards Crockstead only. Yes, as a matter of course, and can tear it into 100,000 pieces and burn it. The nasty, dirty paper. That paper that where she had made that promissory note. Okay, so a man can put a thing like that straight much easier than a woman. If such circumstances would have been with a man, if a man had to borrow the money, there were not so many concerns. But when a woman borrows the money, she has to explain so much. That means if Helma wanted a money and he borrowed with from Dr. Rank, so many questions would not have cropped up. They have come here, they have been raised just because Nora is a woman. For women, everything is difficult, even borrowing money.
yes,
If
ma'am.
a man borrows money, if that is his thing, then he can just in a straight way solve that. But for women, even such a thing has become so complicated.
Okay, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you.
So,
Got
yeah.
it.
Yes, Mrs. Linde looks hard at her, lays down her sewing and gets up slowly. Nora, you are concealing something from me. Now she doubts that there's some problem with her. Do I look as if I were? Something has happened to you since yesterday morning, Nora. What is it? Going nearer to her, Christine. Hush. There's a word come home. Do you mind going into the children for the present? Tower can't bear to see dressmaking going on. Let Anne help you. Mrs. Linde gathering some of the things together, certainly, but I am not going away from here until we have had it out with one another. I want to hear the whole truth. I will not leave this place. Now, as Nora goes to Helma, see how her tone changes. I have wanted you so much, Tower dear. Was that the dressmaker? No, it was Christine. She is helping me to put my dress in order. You will see. I shall look quite smart. Appearance is all everything. Optics. Helma. Wasn't that a happy thought of mine now? Splendid. But don't you think it is nice of me to do so as you wish? You are happy, I am happy, I am doing as you wish. Nice, because you do as your husband wishes. Well, you little rogue, you're blackmailing me in this way. Okay, well, you little rogue. I'm sure you did not mean it in that way, but I am not going to disturb you. You will want to be trying on your dress, I expect. Just try and see how you look. I suppose you are going to work. Yes. Shows her a bundle of papers. Look at it. I have just been into bank. Tawal, yes. If your little squirrel were to ask you for something very, very prettily, what then? Would you do it? I would like to hear what it is first. Condition. That means Nora, if Helma wants something, Nora would not say that just tell me first. She will say yes. But here, Nora, your squirrel would run about and do all her tricks if you would be nice and do what she wants. Be kind to me and I will do in life whatever you tell me to. Speak plainly. Your skylark would chirp about in your every room with her song rising and falling. Well, my skylark does that anyhow. She will always keep me smiling. I would play the fairy and dance for you in the moonlight tower. Nora, you surely don't mean that request you made to me this morning about Crockstead? Yes, Tower, I beg you so earnestly. Yes, I will dance for you, I will sing for you, but just listen to my request. Have you really the courage to open up that question again? Yes, dear. You must do as I ask. You must let Trevor keep his post in the bank. My dear Nora, it is his post that I have arranged Mrs. Linde shall have. Yes, you have been awfully kind about that, but you could just as well dismiss some other clerk instead of Krogstad. This is simply incredible obstinacy. Because you choose to give him a thoughtless promise that you would speak for him. I'm expected to. Now see, his anger is rising. That isn't the reason, Tower. It is for your own sake. This fellow writes in that most scurrilous newspapers. You have told me to so yourself. This paper is a media. This man is a media person. You can do. He can do you an unspeakable amount of harm. I am frightened to death of him. Ah, I understand. It's the recollections of the past that scare you. What do you mean? Naturally, you're thinking of your father. Yes, yes, of course. I just recall to your mind what these malicious creatures wrote in the papers about Papa and how horribly they slandered him. I believe they would have procured his dismissal if department had not sent you over to inquire into it and if you had not been so kindly disposed and helpful to him. Krogstad kind of people were after my papa, but you helped him at that time. So Helma, my little Nora, there is an important difference between your father and me. Your father's reputation as a public official was not above suspicion. Your father's position was not good. Mine is, and I hope it will continue to be so. People, these malicious people could come after your father because your father was within the compass of suspicion. But I am the person who is so morally upright that no one can do me any harm as long as I hold my office. Till here we are going to do today, and I think on Monday we'll be having class. Okay, I'll send you the link on Sunday or maybe on Monday.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, so now any questions? Or let's complete the Act 2 first and then we will have some questions discussed.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay? Okay then. Most welcome.